ready for another lesson?
Yeah, that's right. I can't hear a goddamn thing from that intro, but I'm right on time, wasn't I, Nathaniel?
You're pretty close. Yeah, you're good.
Oh man, you know what? We're just too used to it at this point. Episode 118, we're all the way up. It's like episode 100 was 18 weeks ago. Isn't that wild?
No, we had a double week on there.
Okay, 17 weeks ago. Isn't that wild?
Yeah, no, that is weird.
A lot happened in 17 weeks. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Back Row Banter, your favorite casual movie talk podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Adam Schwartz, and on today's 118th episode, the Emmys happened in the news. The Emmys happened, but who really cares? Because I don't know if any of us care about the Emmys at this point. The Oscars are our main thing. Emmys are like, eh. And so we're just no news. Kenan Thompson hosted. Things happened. I think Succession and did a lot. And what was the other one? There was another one that was.
Did anybody get bitch slapped?
No, and so it's not newsworthy. You know, it's just the times we live in.
Emmys are strictly TV?
Huh?
Emmys are strictly TV, right?
I'm pretty
TV
sure
only
TV. Yeah,
okay.
I think that's the TV only one. I mean, the Queen died. That's the other thing.
Oh yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Terrible. R.I.P.
Down with the monarchy, I guess. But like,
long live the king.
We're Americans. Who cares? You know?
It's
stupid. It's so
I'm
dumb.
on that line for sure.
Yeah, but no news. But we do have a trailer talk. It's the first time in a while. We have trailer talk for Glass Onion, the Knives Out sequel. We'll get to the new to streaming, of course. It's a light list once again. What we're watching, and then our main review for the episode is Coherence. And just for clarification, that's Coherence, not is Coherence. It's
just Coherence.
You know,
single.
Yeah, I usually just go with, and our main review for the episode is blank. But I usually don't do the is. It's whole thing. Anyway, joining me today, of course, and as usual, it's nighttime Nathaniel Gingrich.
What up, folks? I'm Nighttime Nathaniel. You can find me out at nighttime. It's where I do my best work.
Is that a Batman reference?
No. Yes. Remember my other character, the Batman, who carried around a bat, and
yes.
and I think he was also only out at nighttime, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably.
But yeah. Nighttime Nathaniel, also an alter ego. You know how Batman sometimes goes into other characters? Like there's I think he has like a character named like Matches or something like that. And
I'm not familiar with this.
Yeah, he has like a character like called Matches who's like a criminal, and that's how he like keeps an eye on like low level criminals and stuff. He like sets himself up as like a thief or a what's the word, middleman or something like that.
Okay.
And it's one of his disguises. But yeah, that's Nighttime Nathaniel for me, for the Batman.
Got it. Also joining us today, it's Trippy Tyler Vidalis.
Trippy.
This movie's a little trippy, man.
Sure is.
Yeah, it was fun. Was that a train? Oh yeah, it's Blake's train.
It's that time.
It's that time.
Blake's actually haunted by a train. Most listeners won't know that, but that is the ghost of a train that rumbles past his building on the hour every hour. And yeah, it's new, but what are we gonna do?
It's the train to hell, actually.
Oh, okay.
It's transporting the souls from our realm to the hell realm.
I like this. I like this bit of lore that we've created here.
Yeah,
it's hourly, of course. You know.
Well, there's a lot of people that die.
Into a movie.
A lot of people die in an hour.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. A lot of people born in an hour, though. You know, there's always an upside.
Yeah,
we're growing. Did we pass 8 billion people on this planet?
I
think we passed
I hope not.
Like a week ago.
Oh, okay.
I was a big thing on Twitter. I saw we were very close. If not, we've already passed 8 billion.
And I think the planet is supposed to sustainably be able to have 4.
Yep. We're about 4 billion too many.
Google does say we are at 8 billion.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now,
all I'm saying is
always right.
Thanos was right.
Okay, and there it is, folks.
And rounding out the squadron, of course, it's Big Coaster BlakeHolder.
Hey, what's going on, bro?
Coaster is in like
You're not a coaster though.
like a roller coaster.
Coasters in like the
Man, a coaster
Oh,
is
they're
like
quick
like
key
that
thing you
table,
the thing you
or
put the drink
yeah,
on.
yeah.
or like coaster, like as in you coast through life.
No, I was going with the coaster from the table thing, because
Fair
it's in the movie somewhat. No spoilers, obviously.
I'm gonna go
it's
with
not really pertinent to the plot.
Big glow stick Blake.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
feels
I
a
like
little-
that. Yeah, big blue glow stick Blake.
That's
When's the last time you guys had a glow stick in your hands? I was thinking of that when
That's
I was watching
a
this
great
movie.
question. If I had to guess, it was freshman year at my fraternity's neon party.
That's good, guys, for sure.
Yeah,
Sounds like there's some glow sticks involved in that.
I could
And
not
it may have been another party as well that we had glow sticks at, but
I could not
can't
tell you, but I do remember I had one explode in my eye once.
and you can still see.
I can still see, yeah. Well, I can actually see in UV radiation now as well too, which was a
Oh, no
bonus.
way.
Yeah, but helps with
That's
my
cool.
Batman thing.
I was about to say, yeah, that makes a lot of sense now.
No, yeah, it just
that you
stung
said
a
that.
lot, but I just went to the bathroom and flushed it out, and it ended up being okay. But yeah, my eye did not glow too, by the way, which was a real bummer from the whole situation.
That
What
is
color was the
bummer.
glow stick?
Orange.
Not that.
Yeah. Tyler,
I feel
last,
like
last glow stick you held?
No idea.
Oh, Ty, over under 10 years.
Probably over.
Yeah.
over 10 years.
Unless it was like a 4th of July thing, and like there was like a at a park, and like
Sure.
maybe some kid dropped like one of those glow headbands or something like that, and you pick it up,
Yeah.
and then like throw it away right away. But it wasn't like I can't remember the last time like I picked one up on purpose and was like, oh fuck yeah, glow stick.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like I said, I had to take the over of 10 for myself.
So maybe like
couldn't
a
even recall.
wedding or something like that. Might have had one.
I mean, there's
or-
only so many places you're even going to have a glow stick, right?
It's true.
Like, that's what you kind of have to
That's
narrow it down
one
to
of
and then
the-
go from there.
One of the great tragedies of life is that you just gradually go to less places where glow sticks are readily accepted. As
Is
you
that
get
what they call
older.
it, Dalton?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's called
Can't confirm.
maturing. One of the two. One of the two.
Anyways,
Like I said, no news. We can talk about Queen Elizabeth, but I don't really want to.
have you watched
Crazy
The
life,
Crown?
though, you know? Huh? I've not watched The Crown.
I have not watched
Heard
The
it's good,
Crown
though.
either.
90 years on the throne, isn't that wild? Or something like that, right?
70 years.
70
I don't know if
years.
there's 90.
Sure, she's
70
met some
some years on the
interesting
throne.
people.
She was
70
90
years.
She was
90 or 92.
96.
96. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably
That's a
killed
long time.
Princess Diana. But,
Cannot confirm.
and I could say that because we live in America.
What I can confirm is that we have a new trailer for Glass Onion, the sequel to A Knives Out. As this trailer will tell you, it's a Knives Out story. Is that what they end it with?
Yeah.
A Knives
yeah,
Out.
that's the little
Yeah,
coda.
okay. That's a little moniker on the end here. So not Knives Out 2, which I'm glad they didn't do that because that wouldn't really fit this movie for me. I'm glad they went with a different title. It does feel more of this world, sure, or of this story type, to do a different title for this rather than Knives Out 2 or whatever it is. Thoughts here, guys? This is the first we've seen of it, and it's coming out relatively soon. I think Christmas time, I believe. It's on Netflix right away. They're looking at doing, I think we reported a few weeks ago, they're looking at doing a theatrical release to some extent. They haven't really said what. Cast includes Daniel Craig, Edward Norton, Janelle Monáe, Katherine Hahn, Leslie Odom Jr., Jessica Henwick, Madeline Klein, Kate Hudson, and Dave Bautista. Good old Dave Bautista.
I wish I had a whistle effect on here because that's
Shout out Dave Bautista.
That's a stat. Yeah, shout out Dave Bautista.
Great guy.
I like him a lot. After Army of the Dead, I'm kind of a Dave Bautista fan.
Yeah. Dune as well. He was in Dune.
He was
Obviously Guardians,
Right.
very
Yeah, lots
briefly.
of-
and,
lots of
Blade
good
Runner
places.
2049.
that's what I was gonna
Very
say.
quiet.
Just
yeah.
keep going. Yeah, you
Yeah.
could just keep going. Love him.
A lot of
Leslie Odom
those.
Jr. is probably the one I'm most excited for because I don't think I've seen him on screen in anything. He's plays Aaron Burr in Hamilton, if you're not familiar. So, and I love Hamilton, of course. So, like, he's definitely done other like shows or movie spots here and there, but I haven't seen any of them. So like this will be the first time I'm actually seeing him act in a film, which it will be fun to see.
Cool.
Thoughts on the trailer? Anything in particular? Are we excited for this?
I'm very excited. I think this one's gonna be a kind of a locked room story where like it seems like they're all on an island and someone dies, and then so it's someone on the island already kind of thing, which is a cool one. Whereas like last one, it was obviously they were bringing Daniel Craig's character in to solve a murder after it had happened. I think he might actually be there when it happens as well too on this one, which will be cool. And I'm excited for sure. Big cast.
Yeah, definitely.
Ryan Johnson back at the helm. Seems to be really having fun with this. And Daniel Craig also does.
For sure.
Yeah, they definitely seem to like these characters a lot. Like this is just I think Ryan Johnson, you can tell in the first one, he kind of just like yes, he has an idea for what he wants these characters to be and whatnot, but like he just lets the actors have fun with it, and I think you can see that a lot in this trailer even.
Interestingly, I think this kind of joins the class of Netflix movies that don't really look like Netflix movies. Whereas like it'll be like your Martin Scorsese, what was it? The
Irishman.
The Irishman, thank you. I was thinking of the book name, the So You Paint Houses or whatever it's called. Or like Roma, the Alfonso Cuarón movie as well too. And this one doesn't look like it's shot on in a single room or anything like that. So yeah, I'm excited.
Me too.
Tyler, any thoughts?
Yeah, it's like what we're always saying. I'm waiting for something, that I haven't seen before, and this kind of, it's another kind of like Clue murder mystery kind of deal, but the first one was good, and I'll be excited to see how this one plays out. But I'm not like I gotta go out and see this, especially because it's going directly to Netflix, so it also doesn't make me wanna. It doesn't put a lot of urgency on it for me.
Gotcha.
But yeah, overall, I'll definitely sit down, watch it, and take it in for what it is, and hopefully it's as good as the first one.
I'm with you.
Yep. This is coming out December 23rd, is what I'm seeing here. 2 hours and 20-minute runtime.
Yeah, nice little holiday release. Yeah, you can definitely sit down with the fam and take a look at that.
Yeah, coming to Netflix is, there's pros and cons to it, because if this is coming out around the holidays, obviously this might be a nice holiday movie to watch with the fam, but also consider. I loved the Knives Out theater screening I went to. Like that was a really good theater going experience. Like watching that with a group of people, it was good to see that on the screen and everything. So doing this coming straight to streaming, like I don't know if a lot of people are gonna wait. If there's no theatrical release this day and date, people are gonna watch this on Netflix and say, even if the theatrical release is a week later, then if you've seen it once, you're not going to go see it again. For most people, of course, there might be some exceptions, but like most people aren't going to be like, oh, I just watched this on Netflix. Oh, and it's in theaters now. But I just saw it for free, almost. So it would be tough. I'm interested to see what they do with that theatrical release, because it needs to be day and date, or else there's really no point, in my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah.
Maybe we do. Maybe we get Knives Out on here before this one.
I'm down.
Yeah, I'd be on board for that. I like Knives Out.
Yeah, and I haven't seen it since theaters. So.
I don't think I caught that in theaters. I think I caught it very early when it went like VOD. But yeah, I've only seen it one time.
Well, they both got to be relatively easy to access, so maybe it's one of those times we do a little comparison again.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go. Definitely could. All right.
Sir, what else we got?
That's it really for the news section here. We can go ahead and get into Adam Schwartz's completely subjective new to streaming list for the week of September 11th through the 17th. This list, of course, if you're not familiar, there's a lot of things that come to the streaming services each week, and this is my hand-selected list of things that might be worth checking out. Netflix is getting This Is the End from 2013, a film I have not seen, but
really,
but stays around in conversation, so I know it's good.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I haven't seen it in a while, but I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to rewatching it just if it pops up like on Netflix or something.
So
Yeah. I
that's
know
the
people
Seth
still talk
Rogen one,
about it.
right?
Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. There's a lot of end of the world. This is the end.
Yeah.
Ones
Yeah.
that I get them confused. But yeah, that one's funny. That's a movie my mom walked out in. It's a fun little anecdote of that movie.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah, she just got to a certain point and was like, "Yep, I'm done," and just went to the mall. And I was like, "Fair enough."
Well, that's it for Netflix. Amazon Prime isn't getting much. I think there's another episode of Lord of the Rings coming out. I think that might be it. Hulu is getting Handmaid's Tale. There are 2 episodes, season 5 premiere, and Hulu is also getting The Last Duel, which we have reviewed here on Pod. HBO Max is not getting anything, and Disney Plus is getting She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, episode 5. Anyone keeping up with She-Hulk?
No, but I did finish Miss Marvel this week as a little what we're watching, bit of sizzle there. But I'll be moving on to that soon. I've heard it's good.
Is it every Wednesday it comes out?
Wednesday or
so.
Thursday, yeah.
Okay, so I just haven't watched today's because Leah hasn't been home, but every other episode I've watched.
How are you liking that compared to some of the other Marvel shows too?
It's okay. I feel like I don't ever. I really don't have like a favorite Marvel TV show anymore. They've all just kind of become like this clump of like TV that I could or could not watch, and it almost doesn't feel worth it. The TV shows are definitely getting me on the oversaturation
Marvel
of
fatigue.
Marvel.
Yeah.
It's kind of feels like they're just beating a dead horse, and I understand that they still have like so much to explain, but it just feels like so fucking much right now. So I have like that bias in like the back of my head when I'm watching these things, so it's almost kind of like I'm not overly paying attention to them, but like they're just on. So there's always like that kind of looming for me, but it's okay. It's tolerable.
Speaking of which, that was news this week. They had the D23 Expo, and they revealed some more of what's going on. Like they got that Werewolf by Night show coming in, or it's just a one-off. It's just a single episode, and that's going to be like their Halloween feature. And
you know what? You were 100% right, Nathaniel. I don't know how that didn't pop up in my feeds, or it probably didn't. I maybe just missed it. I don't think a ton came out from D23. Just a few things.
Yeah, it was more Disney stuff as well too, and a couple different Pixar films were announced and stuff. They're doing continuous remakes of their classic stuff still. And and then there was just a few Marvel things that came out as well. But yeah,
was the Little Mermaid trailer? Was that D23?
Yeah, that was a D23 thing as well too.
Got it.
Are we on to what we're watching?
Yeah, we're already. I thought we were. I thought that was our transition. I was waiting on Ty to take it away with the rest of his list.
Sorry, I definitely can.
My bad. Yeah, go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, so I did get around to She-Hulk. There was another Formula One Grand Prix,
Italia,
which Max Verstappen is just a complete and utter wrecking ball.
Yeah, that's one word. That's one word to put it.
And all the other teams just look like they're
scrambling, man.
It looks like they're actually racing, and everyone's racing for second, which is first in their mind, because there's just no catching Max right now.
No, he could win next week or next race in Singapore, which is 3 weeks. But
yeah. It's in the bag for him, but it still makes the middle of the field very fun to watch. Unfortunate for Alex Albon, but I'm very happy to see Nicholas DeVries. He's always been someone that's been fun to watch in F2, and it was only kind of a matter of time before he made a step up to Formula One. So I'm glad that he got to sub in, and he did great. And it was very funny to hear about all the comments of how his shoulders hurt, and and gives you a better idea of just how much effort and athletic ability and muscle and endurance is actually put into a sport like Formula One, even though people think it's just driving cars. But it was fun, and I still thoroughly enjoy every race, even though some are more interesting than others. But Did you guys watch that?
I did. Yeah, that one was not the most interesting. Max led it like lap 12, maybe less, and then pretty much led the rest of the race. It wasn't really in question after that. Yeah, this one wasn't super thrilling, but they can't all be, you know.
True.
I slept through this race. But not on purpose. I was not feeling great on Sunday. I woke up with a little bit of a fever, but it was fine. So,
Well, glad you're feeling better.
thank you.
Yeah. I also got around to House of Dragons.
Yes.
Which still has me fully interested.
Weird
And,
episode. Weird episode this week.
Yeah, you kind of knew that like it was gonna happen at some point, so it was only a matter of time. But yeah, it's still a good show for now. So we'll see where it leads to. Carolia and I got we've both been like super free because like it's very rare that I'm working like past 6 anymore.
Sure.
So I get home at a decent hour, so we get to start movies and stuff like that for like dinner and everything. So Carolia has read all the Divergent books, and we've both seen these, but they have the trilogy available, and we actually watched all 3. So I got around to Divergent, Insurgent, and Allegiant.
Was Allegiant the one that like ends on a cliffhanger and then they just never made the 4th one?
Yes.
Okay, that's insane.
Yes, I agree. So yeah, the first one is, it definitely keeps you at least interested in the movie. Second and third one definitely start to trail off, and it's upsetting, but it is what it is. And yeah, that's all I really got to say about those. And then I got around to Rings of Power, obviously, and I'm just fully invested in this universe, and it still looks so beautiful. And there's little things and Easter eggs that are constantly getting pulled out, and all these theories. I'm not a very big reader, or trying to look into things once I've seen it. I always kind of like to see for what I have and just kind of think about my own things. But this is obviously a universe that puts me in a bit of a different mood and a different vibe, and it's something that I constantly read about or watch YouTube videos about and see all these different theories that people have, and so it's very cool to dig a little deeper into something that you guys obviously know is I'm very passionate about. But yeah, I'm still full in on Rings of Power. So.
And you're doing your homework now too.
I am, yeah.
Fun times.
So yeah, I mean, Adam, I'm sure you watched House of Dragons. What else you been watching?
I'm still not caught up on that.
Piece of sh.
Any time I have has been going to Halo because I've been trying to get back into form for Orlando next week. So it's just like, between school, podcast, Halo, and then other responsibilities and stuff. I haven't had much time. After Orlando next week, it's gonna be a while before the next event, so I won't be playing as much the rest of the semester. So definitely catching up after that, and then we'll be staying caught up with pretty much everything. And I think after Orlando, like, I want to get caught up on all the Marvel shows I've missed. Obi-Wan, Boba Fett, I still haven't watched. Like, all these shows I want to get caught up on, and I won't have the pressure of like feeling like I need to play. So. Anyway, besides the Italian Grand Prix, I watched 2 documentaries from my documentary class. One of which was really fun, actually. In Colombia, they have a film festival called the True False Film Festival, and it's all documentaries. It's usually in the spring.
Did you say True False or True Falls?
True False.
Okay. I feel like that name's going to come in handy here.
What is going to come handy?
That name.
Yeah. Well, it's documentary, so like that's kind of the whole thing with documentaries is like what you're watching is that how is it actually represented or whatnot. Anyway, they usually do the festivals in the spring, usually like late April. early May, and but they have a few movies that they show in their fall showcase, and so this was a screening of a new Netflix doc that's coming out next month. It's not even out yet, but it's called Descendant. And it's from I think I maybe mentioned on a podcast last week how there was like a documentary I didn't love that I watched called The Order of Myths, which is about Mardi Gras in the Mobile, Alabama.
Okie doke.
This is the same filmmaker, same town in Mobile, or at least same like county, town, kind of same area basically. But have you guys heard of the Clotilda? Clotilda?
I have not.
No.
Ship?
No, I have not.
So it's the last known ship to transport slaves from Africa to the United States. I think around 1860, which was
That's sad. I should know that.
which was several years after which was several years after it was outlawed to transport slaves, because it was I think 1812 maybe, or maybe somewhere in the 1810s I think is when it was, or maybe it was 1808, somewhere around there, early 1800s, is they said, okay, we're not going to end slavery, but you can't import anymore basically. And so that was a law like punishable by death. So it was the fact that they did it so far after that was outlawed was kind of a big deal, but no one kind of knew about it officially. They covered it up well, but like the people that were brought over, they passed the story down generation to generation. And because it was like 1860, they're only like 4 generations removed from people who are alive today, 4 or 5. So it was like a story that was pretty well kept and well preserved, getting passed down and being kind of documented underground until about 1960. Because at that point, if you brought it up between 1860 and 1960, you'd get lynched because you're, in Mobile, Alabama. But then once the Civil Rights Act and everything, it started to become more public about the story about how there was the ship, but they never found the actual ship. And it was, the rumor was that it was sunk in one of the like estuary rivers that came in from the Gulf of Mexico into Mobile, Alabama, because it's right on the coast essentially.
And where was this
like
doc at?
This was this is gonna be on
out.
Netflix in about a month.
Okay.
So it's gonna be a month and a half or so. So I'll make sure I put it on the new to streaming list whenever I see it pop
Yeah,
up
that's
there.
actually interesting to me. I mean, obviously, always most of that stuff is. So yeah, I probably should try to educate myself on that.
Yeah,
Just
it was
my own,
really
like,
really
ethnic
good.
background. So yeah, it sounds like something I'd be interested in.
Sounds like we
It was
should
a really
all educate ourselves on that, to be honest with you. Probably
Yeah,
one of
yeah,
those
no,
things
good
everyone
And,
should know about.
so the doc it was interesting because it wasn't about finding the ship. They eventually do find it, but I guess spoilers. But like that's not really what the documentary is about, because it's more about like the community itself and like
Those people that are the descendants of that ship.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so the town that they live in and how they've been taken advantage of ever since they got here, like their entire town, because they were only here for a few years under enslavement before they were freed because of the Civil Wars. But like they've still been taken advantage of from the same family that is responsible for bringing them over here. Like the same family of the guy who built the ship Clotilda and brought the slaves over here. Like they all came.
I'm sure he's now a real estate agent there or something.
That family is still in that town.
Yeah.
And is still essentially one of the families, kind of perpetuating, keeping them,
Yeah, for sure. In Mobile, Alabama, they may even have a statue of that guy somewhere.
Not a bad
I
call.
don't know if they probably have statues of other people. I don't know if they have statues of him, but really good doc. And the director was there. Man, I'm forgetting her name already, and that's really unfortunate. Because there was a Q&A after the screening, and then there was a for my class, my professor, who I've said like I said has done other films and has his own film on Netflix, knows the director. Her name is...
Who's the humble brag guy now, huh, Adam?
Margaret Brown. There we go. Margaret Brown, and she directed the one from before. Order of Myths and directed this one as well. And so we got a Q&A with her and she kind of told us about the process of making the film and stuff. So really, really cool and really good doc. I will make sure I bring it up when it is on the new streaming list.
Sounds cool. What else you got?
Other thing I watched today in class, the doc class, we watched another documentary called The Land Without Bread, which was made in 1932. It kind of was like a satire documentary. And I remember last week how I talked about Nanook of the North, the like first ever documentary that was kind of faked. This one's kind of like poking fun at both that film, but mainly like the fact that audiences actually like watched that, consumed that, and accepted that. So it was kind of interesting because it's not a super interesting film, but like watching it with that context, you're kind of like, oh wow, it's like very early on. It's 1932, which is like I think 10 years maybe after Nanook of the North, so very early on, and it's like already we have satirical, filmmaking and documentary. That's kind of like poking fun at the medium, so or at least at the audience. So that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy though.
But that's
how fast that developed.
Yeah. Right away they were on it with like, I can't believe you guys are just watching other people suffer, essentially accepting that and not questioning it. So that's kind of what that was about. But yeah, Nathaniel.
Yeah, I'll get to my stuff here. Hold on, let me unlock my phone first. Let's see. I also got to House of the Dragon, talked about that a little bit. Weird episode, but those crazy Targaryens. And been watching more of Black Clover as well too. Talked about that before. Watched Coherence, obviously. Waz has just been having Rick and Morty on in the background. And
God.
Yeah, that's a show that is very funny, but to say that nowadays really kind of puts you into a certain group of people.
Yeah, it does.
But it's a funny show. It's still good. It's from very self-aware people, so I think it still passes the smell test. But I've just been popping in for random episodes every now and then, and still very funny. I watched the Woodstock 99 docu-series on Netflix.
One on Netflix?
Yeah.
So good, right?
Yeah, it was interesting, especially because I watched the other one on HBO Max, I think, last year. I might have talked about it on Pod. And just seeing that both takes on that event as well, too, was really kind of an interesting little compare and contrast.
Yeah, they tell similar stories, but there's definitely some differences here and there that are kind of interesting.
Yeah, and like the Netflix doc is broken up day by day, and they actually interviewed a couple of the guys that were actually running the festival as well too. And
Michael Moore, I think, is
Michael Lang,
the guy who Michael Lang.
Yeah,
and then I forgot the other guy's
John
name.
Reese or something like that, or something. Yeah, something like Sure, I think it was, or Cher.
Yeah.
But it is definitely very interesting to see kind of what people's opinions still are too, especially because like the docuseries definitely has a certain tone, but then like you have like people who were there that were like, yeah, I mean, it was crazy, but it was also this formative experience to me, and I would 100% have gone back, kind of thing, which is obviously insane having seen the footage from the couple days before. But it was definitely a nice little snapshot into a weird little moment in our history. I finished Miss Marvel. I was talking about before. Overall, fun series. Similar to Ty, I think, like with both the movies and the series going on right now, it is just like Marvel overload in some place, and I think that is evident in that I haven't watched She-Hulk yet. But I'll get to it, and I did enjoy Miss Marvel for what it's worth. It's a fun series. And then, basically the last thing I got to was a movie called Mississippi Grind. Has anyone else heard of that one?
I have not.
No, I haven't.
So it's from 2014, I want to say. It's an A24 movie. It stars Ryan Reynolds and Ben Mendelsohn as
weird
gamblers that are making their way from Milwaukee down to New Orleans and like hitting different casinos along the way. And they're kind of story together as they move down there together. It's directed by the guys, or the I don't. It's a man and a woman. I don't know if they're a husband and wife team or in a relationship or anything like that. But co-directors who also did Miss Marvel, or not Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, the movie as well too. Marvel snapped them up after this movie as well. But yeah, it's good. It's not in my top A24 joints, I would say. It drags a little bit in the middle, I think, but overall has a nice sense of narrative and knowing when to zig when it's expecting you to zag. So I would recommend it if anyone's kind of in the mood for a cool little gambling movie. But yeah. And then other than that, it was just Coherence. I think, Blake, you're the last to go here.
Cool. Yeah. I'll go ahead and wrap it up. So this past week I rewatched I've been going through Atlanta again because season 4 comes out tomorrow. Week by week, I should say. So the first episode of season 4 comes out tomorrow.
That's so fast.
So yeah, as you guys know, that's one of my favorite shows. And they actually took some time to get to season 3 and 4. They filmed them back to back in COVID. So season 3 came out, I think, like April or something. So yeah. Final season's coming out here, so yeah, I'm gonna see if I can go ahead and finish up 1 through 3 again, then jump into 4. One of my favorite shows. So nonetheless, outside of that, one film I did get to, and we kind of talked about it briefly, I think last week, or maybe it was like 2 Sundays ago. Me and Nathaniel were kind of chomping up about it at the store, but I got to Blair Witch Project.
Yes.
Nice.
So yeah, and that's one I've seen, but I haven't seen in its entirety. In one sitting. So obviously just being a huge fan of the horror community, right? I was like, you know what, let me actually sit down and rewatch this. And once I did, I realized like I've seen a bulk of that movie, right?
Oh, okay.
In fair pieces. But yeah, overall, I'm not a huge found footage guy, right? And Blair Witch Project, I guess to those who don't know, it's known for being one of, I can't say it's the first found footage film, but it's really the one that like brought it to the forefront of cinema. Yeah. Right. So just in terms of the movie came out in 99, 98 or something of that nature. So like at the beginning ages of the internet and things of that nature. So the promo and everything, how they went about this movie was like at that time was like unheard of. Yeah. Right, in terms of like using the internet,
first viral
web addresses, right, correct. First viral moment you could quote unquote say in the cinema world. So, they even went on the lengths of like putting up like missing links, missing posters, and missing person links like for the cast. So a lot of people thought this was real at the time. So unfortunately, I actually didn't get to see any of that in theaters. But yeah, so went back and rewatched it, and it's good. It holds up okay. I mean, I can't say it's my favorite found footage film, but you can see what it did for the genre. And yeah, very low budget, as you can imagine. The cast is 4 people. They got their own kind of like VHS camcorders. Like that was really cool to kind of see how that looked at that time. Mm-hmm. It's like movie's really grainy. It's like peak 90s when you're watching it. You know what I mean? But yeah, overall pretty good. Had a few kind of intense moments too as well. Did some digging on that where there's a large people kind of in that realm where they think that the setup of the Blair Witch is kind of fake, and they really think it's just like the 2 guys who were out there trying to plot a murder on killing one of the other people. So yeah, there's a really long rabbit hole you can jump into, but yeah, movie with a gigantic cult following. Feel free to check it out. So. But yeah, I liked it. Not my favorite found footage by any means. Outside of that, this past weekend, I went to the Wisconsin-Washington State football game with my dad.
Oh, cool.
So as you guys all know, we're just huge sports fans. So we're trying to figure out what we can do to watch some games. We thought of going to the Bears game, but Bears tickets are incredibly high for a team that's not too good.
Hey man, they won.
They did, surprisingly, but they played in a monsoon, so it was like, yeah, I'll take it.
They did play.
No explanations, no excuses, right? That's what they used to tell us. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, so nonetheless, we went to the Wisconsin-Washington State game, which was actually pretty good. Washington State upset them. Wisconsin was ranked like 12. So yeah, pretty good time on that. Just kind of see some football live. So we were actually contemplating. October 1st, we were either going to try to go to the Iowa Michigan game. So that's at Iowa. So it's only about 2.5 hours from here. Or we were actually looking at going down to Mizzou. They played Georgia that week, and Georgia's the number 1 team in the country.
Dude, come down. because
So,
my
like,
parents
me
are
and
coming down that weekend too.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Dad was like, oh, dude, Adam goes to school down there. So yeah, we're kind of contemplating that. But then the
Come on
drive
down,
on it
man.
was just totally different though, dude. That drive was like fucking 6
6
hours. And like going to
Yeah,
Iowa was like 240. You know what I mean? I'm like, man, that's much
Yeah,
easier.
but
So yeah,
yeah,
we're contemplating. We're contemplating. Ticket prices are actually cheaper for the
you
Mizzou
know,
game.
they're cheaper for the Mizzou game. I've
They
seen those
are.
ticket prices. They're like $110.
Yeah, dude, the Iowa Michigan
No
game,
way.
those tickets right now, I mean,
No way.
for a favorable seat, I mean, it's college stadiums. All seats are pretty favorable.
Sure,
I mean, but like
yeah.
for a favorable seat of where we'd like to sit, being huge fans, I mean, you're probably 180 or so. And the
Yeah.
Mizzou game for
Fuck.
where you'd want to sit, you might be able to find it for 100. You know what I mean? So almost half the price. So we're contemplating. We'll figure out what we're gonna do. But yeah, we'll keep you updated. It would be cool to kind of
Dude,
see
let me
some
know.
SEC football. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that'd be awesome. I'd be down.
So that's pretty much what I did. Got to Coherence, rewatched that. That's the third watch of Coherence. That's the movie we're doing on the pod. So yeah, I'll share my thoughts on that.
Well, I think we can all share our thoughts. Aren't we all through?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Welcome, listeners, to the main review segment of the podcast. We're going to go ahead and review the movie Coherence. Nathaniel, if the listener here is new, or maybe they've just forgotten, you can give them a rundown of how the review segment works.
What up, folks? Yeah, if you're new or maybe you've just forgotten, the way the review segment works here on Back Row Banter is it is split up into two sections. There's the spoiler section and there's the non-spoiler section. Obviously, we'll start in the non-spoiler section. And in that section, we'll describe the movie's IMDb page, kind of go through everything, who directed it, when it came out, go over its IMDb summary, all that good stuff. Then we'll go around the squadron, see who recommends this movie. Has to be a yes or no. There is no nuance on the internet. And then from then on, it'll be spoiler time. I'll play the spoiler noise, and if you don't want to have anything spoiled for you, leave then, because we'll go into our deeper thoughts and any other spoiler parts of this movie. And but even if you have left, do come back to see where it ranks up on our Entropy list, which is our big list of everything we've watched on the podcast ranked. Adam, tell me about Coherence, which we called an audible. I don't know if you actually put that in the
I
episode.
post-podded it. Don't worry.
Post-pod Adam came in?
You know, as he usually does. Yeah, we post-podded it. I'm still looking into once Orlando's done, I'll try to get around to 4 months, 3 weeks, 2 days, and we can do a little bit of sizzle on that, Nathaniel. Don't you worry.
Good.
So we'll get around to that, and so if any listeners want to watch that and join us, we could do that as well. But yes, we did call the audible to Coherence, which for as audibles go, let's review here. On Amazon Prime, that's already a bonus. Easy access. You know, you're not going out of your way to find this movie. In 90 minutes, you're not committing to a lot. It's not like one we have to build up the hype around. It's not one you have to go out of your way to go see, set up a 2-3 hour movie. It's a sweet 90-minute runtime. You know,
Very true.
And
underrated in that. Very underrated in that aspect.
Yeah.
I was pleased when I went to click it. I was like, I forgot how short this movie was. Yeah.
Happy. Because it was like 10 o'clock, and I was like, if this thing's pushing, and I was exhausted. It was like 10, maybe 10:30. I was like, if this thing's pushing 2 hours, like I'm just gonna watch like half of it. I'll watch the rest tomorrow. Yeah. And sure enough, I looked at it. It was like 90 minutes.
128. Yeah.
I was like, yes, we can get it in one sitting. So yeah, I was very happy to see that. But yes, this is Coherence. Came out in the year 2013. Could have come out in the year 2008. 2013. We've come a long way. You know, this is not. I thought this was 2008 because I don't know. Maybe I was just telling myself that it just seems like 2008 to me, but who knows? Anyway,
what about it is giving
rated.
you 2008 vibes? Like just the feel of everything.
Yes, I don't know the aesthetics
like the
of the
fashion.
characters. Like
okay,
the girl with the glasses that's got the blue glasses. The fact that Skype was the big thing, which I guess 2013. Yeah, Skype was still
It's
around.
a different time. Yeah, man.
Dude, and that's not even 10 years ago. 9 years.
It's almost 10 years ago, which is crazy.
9 years, man. Yeah, that is wild. Anyway, it's not rated, and as you said, it has a runtime of 1 hour and 29 minutes. It's got an IMDb rating of 7.2 out of 10. The director is, pretty good. James Ward Birkitt.
we'll say Burkett.
Byrkit. Birkitt.
Yeah, sounds right.
something like that. Written by James Ward Burkett, and it's a story by Alex Manoogian. I think I'm just gonna go with Manoogian. Starring Emily Baldoni. Man, I'm having trouble here. Maury Sterling, Nicholas Brendan, Elizabeth Grayson, Laureen Scafaria.
Yep.
Hugo Armstrong, and Lauren Maher, and Alex Manoogian. Oh, who is, I guess, the guy who helped with the story. Yep. So he's also in it. I think we'll stop there. It's a very small cast. There's not much more. So
it is a cast of about 8 people.
And it stays as a cast of about 8 people. Let's get into the IMDb summary. How could I forget? The IMDb summary reads as follows. Strange things begin to happen when a group of friends gather for a dinner party on an evening when a comet is passing overhead. All right. Yeah, that's solid. There's not, that's very surface level. Which is all you need.
Simple and to the point.
All you need for this movie. Simple to the point. I love it. You know what? That's a very good IMDb summary. Thank you, whoever left that review. So yeah, this is a group of, like I said, eight friends gather for a dinner party. It seems like some of them haven't seen each other in a long-ish time. It's it's not described how much time's passed since they've all been together, but they all seem to know each other very well. Let's see. Yeah, I don't want to say too much because like saying too much would spoil things, and this is one of those films where it's like it's kind of a thriller. It's takes some turns and you don't really see them coming, and so you don't want to have them spoiled for you. Obviously,
it's a good one to go in blind to.
You want to go in as blind as possible because you're kind of like, what's going on? And as you're trying to piece it together, you can't really piece it together.
Oh, that, folks, is the time where the Discord
it can't be based.
Likes to shut itself off. So you're listening to Smooth Jazz, KYOT, the Coyote. Thank you for listening to the station identification. And we're back. Hello? Adam, you were saying it was a hard film to guess what's happening next, basically.
Yeah, because you have these rules that you think are that are kind of established, and you think it might be this thing, but then it's not that, because it's not, and I don't know. It's hard to explain, but it's fun. I had a great time with this movie. I was so pleasantly surprised by it because I kind of sat down to watch it, and I was like, all right, we just had this, we called the audible. Is it worth it? But I was excited to see the 90-minute runtime, and I was, you guys said it was not really horror, but more of like thriller. I was like, I'm down for that. I don't need to be scared right now. It's not spooky season. It's, but this was definitely fun. And you guys know I'm a sucker for movies with comets at this point.
That's true.
Only good things can happen with comets. So yeah, I'm on board for this movie. This is 100% a recommend. Definitely like not a best movie I've ever seen or anything, but there's a lot to like about this movie. It kind of reminds me of like Green Room, where I just kind of went in blind, and it was short and sweet, and surprise. I just really enjoyed myself, and the whole time was really engaged, and like you got in, you got out, you got what the film wanted you to get, and that's it. It's a nice tight little package. Definitely worth watching, and yeah, it's like I said, not the best movie I've ever seen, but definitely like a sleeper that I don't think enough people have seen.
An underrated gem, if you will.
Sure.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, I mean, I'll talk about it a little bit too. This movie is definitely one that I don't think maybe most of the listeners might have heard of, and so if you are listening to this, happy to introduce you to it. I came across this movie in 2014, I want to say, at a film festival, and yeah, I didn't know anything about it going into it, and was just had a great time. Was such a fun ride and fun theater experience. And this is one which, like I said, maybe not many people know, but like most of the podcast knows because I've forced it on them at some point. So it's cool to hear Adam's perspective on it as well too. And yeah, I think it's a movie that was made for $50,000. It all takes place in one location, basically, and it's just 8 people in a room together, more or less. But and as Adam referenced earlier, Alex Manoogian, who is the co-writer of the movie, also stars in the movie as well too. And he was kind of there just to, because a lot of it is improvised as well too. A lot of the dialogue is kind of free flowing and improvised as well too. They just kind of gave them points to move from. And he was actually, as the co-writer, he was like the plant. He was there to make sure that everyone would kind of like stay on topic at certain points as well too. So they could have that kind of improvised, natural feel to everything while also making sure to hit key plot points along the way as well too.
It makes a lot of sense saying that after watching this movie, because that was one of the things that I noticed watching this. I was like, this dialogue just feels like it is the dinner party and you're just kind of right there with them.
Yeah, it was shot over 5 days, and like I said, it was all one sitting basically, and then they had to do, I think, reshoots a little while later. But yeah, it's the director's house. It's his wife was like 8 months pregnant at the time of filming, and they told her like you can use the house if you do it in 5 days. So they're like, yep, we're gonna do it. And then like the cast is all like kind of weirdly connected to movies in some way. Like the girl you were talking about earlier, Lee, who has the blue glasses, that's Lorene Scafaria. She's directed Seeking a Friend for the End of the World and Hustlers as well too. So she's a pretty well-known director at this point. And then obviously you have Nicholas Brendan, who was on Buffy for years. But I guess I went down a little rabbit hole looking into James Ward Burkett as well too. I guess he was like a co-writer, because this is the only thing he's ever directed. But he was like a co-writer and like script doctor, I think, on like the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise as well too. So
whoa,
yeah, it's a bit of a weird movie that I just kind of found at one time, and luckily it's kind of, I think, found a little bit of a second life on streaming in some ways, and one I like to recommend for people for sure.
I don't see him on Pirates of the. Oh wait, he directed a short of Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, but I think he's also on there as like a crew member at some point too.
I don't know, but he is credited with the story for Rango.
Yeah, that as well too, which was also directed by Gore Verbinski, who from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Gotcha.
But for 2 people I've recommended this movie to prior to the podcast, Blake, Tyler, what did you think?
Yeah, as I kind of mentioned earlier, this is my 3rd time seeing it. First time was probably 2018 or so. Me and Nathaniel just kind of talking at the store. Went back, watched it. Second time, I want to say was probably like peak quarantine. Where I watched it with my dad, because it was on Hulu for a long time. I'd guess over 16 months. Yeah. So I caught it again there. And then obviously 3rd time was just this past time. So yeah, I was similar to kind of Adam's point. I mean, when Nathaniel told me, hey, have you ever seen Coherence? I was like, no, I'd never heard of it. He kind of gave me a brief synopsis. Went and watched it, and I was like, hey, this is pretty good. So yeah, pleasantly surprised. And it's held up on second and third watch. For context, I watched it with my dad. The second time I watched it, he even liked it as well. And he's a pretty big movie buff too. So yeah, I think this is one you could recommend to most people, and they'll get behind it. I mean, it's a small film, right? I mean, as we kind of said, there's maybe 8 characters, pretty much takes place in one location the entire time. I mean, so there is a lot of dialogue, and I think this is a film where, like, if you're not quite paying attention, you can definitely like look up and like you're lost. You know what I mean? Like if you were to go down on your phone for 5 minutes and look up, you're losing a lot of context. So yeah, as long as you're kind of attentive while you're watching it, I have a hard time thinking most people wouldn't at least find it interesting. So
this is definitely one that you watch more than once, you catch more things for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, good point. Absolutely. So yeah, that's that kind of goes without being said. I guess we haven't really discussed what the movie's about, but yeah, to your point, Nathaniel, absolutely. Once you watch it, it's really cool because you kind of start to have different thoughts and kind of when you think people are in certain places and things of that nature. It's really cool to kind of rewatch that. But yeah, that's kind of all I got. Ty, what do you think?
Yeah, a lot of the same points. This is my 2nd time watching it. First time I watched it with Nathaniel.
That's true.
Off his recommendation, obviously. Yeah, trippy movie. Obviously we've talked about the size of the cast and just the overall small setting. And I think anytime that you can get this much success out of something that's so small, is something that needs to be recognized. But yeah, man, just a really good movie as far as like sitting there and actually having to like contemplate. And I'm right along there with you, Blake. If you miss this thing for 5 minutes looking down at your phone or something, you're definitely missing out on something. And that's one of the better things about this movie is it's constantly moving itself. And the cast does such a good job at making sure that they're driving it, and it's very well paced for an hour and a half. You get a lot done. It's very accomplished in what it's doing, and yeah, I'm definitely a recommend for sure.
Yeah, just to kind of like wrap up here, I think if I could pitch one more time to any of the listeners out there who maybe haven't watched this movie yet, but I always describe it as like the smallest movie I've ever seen that asks the biggest questions that it possibly can in that kind of sense. If you want like a short and sweet elevator pitch for this one, similar to like 9 Days in some ways, where like you just have that very small cast, but you're dealing with very, very large questions in some ways as well too. So yeah, if anyone wants to get sold on something, go check out Coherence. Recommend from me.
Now on Amazon Prime.
You probably already have it. Why not? All right, well, we're going to go ahead and head into spoilers. So if you've not seen Coherence and do not want spoiled for you, and trust me, this is not a movie you want spoiled for you, go ahead, check that episode description where I've left a timestamp you can jump to where you'll be taken to the ranking of the movie up upon the Entropy list.
Up upon.
Spoilers.
Shit goes down,
and it goes down, and it goes down, and it goes down, and it goes down, and it goes down, and it goes down.
And then there's Schrodinger's shit that also goes down.
There's
or maybe
Schrodinger's
it doesn't.
That's going up.
Yeah, it could be going up as well too. So, yeah, they're in different realities, and there's multiple people, and they're all in the box.
Of madness.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
What a like great reveal that like when she looks at the notepad and it's like the green letters, and you're like, oh, what?
Oh yeah, she's in the wrong house too.
She's in the wrong house too, and that realization is wild.
Yeah, it's great at just kind of spiraling and just continuing to just play out the thought, and you're like, okay, yeah, I think I know where I stand on this, and I think we got the situation figured out. Then, oh no, it's different. Oh no,
keeps evolving.
Yeah. And then you reach that same place that she does of just fuck it, like go out and find your best thing that you can, and just go from there, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So for the context of the listeners, there's this comet that kind of flies overhead. There's these people they're setting up for like a friendly dinner, I guess is the easiest term, right? People are getting together, not a family gathering, a friends get together, right? Couples and things. Nonetheless, comet flies overhead, power goes out, some strange shit goes on, and long story short, there's a collapse of realities. Yeah. And there's multiple realities that these characters can kind of go into at any given time. And that sounds kind of tacky, but they actually do it really well.
Yeah, it's all set in the one house too, and they go outside the house and they realize that their kind of area of control is that basically the house in the one block. And if they go outside that area, they will go to a different reality, which is the exact same house and exact same block, but with the other versions of themselves in there as well too. And things start to go awry very quickly.
But this was so much fun.
Yeah, I'm glad you finally got to see this one, Adam.
It was really good. It's just like a really good way to just really good storytelling in the sense of like the characters and just the setting having such a small scale. I really liked the directing because throughout the whole film it's handheld camera for the most part, and you kind of just it's very very medium tight shots where there's very few wide shots or anything like that. You just feel like the whole time between the handheld camera, those medium shots, And those close-ups, like you feel like you're right there in that friend group. It feels almost like a found footage film, the way that they shot this, which helps you just feel like right there, and that plays into like the panic and the chaos, because you're just like, well, what is going on? Like you almost feel like you're at that dinner party, and you are also, you know, traveling or trying to figure out what's happening. And the way this is shot, it plays into it so well.
Yeah, I will say on the third or fourth watch now that I've seen of this movie, that does start to annoy me a little bit. Actually, it's so floaty at some points that you're just like, oh, I wish we were on I wish we were on a tripod so that we could get everyone in focus here real quick. But they have addressed that as well too. The director said that he basically wanted to be able to allow the actors to go anywhere they wanted to in the scene, and the only way to really ensure that was to just have the camera in that kind of free floating style as well too. But yeah, you're right. It does lend you that sense of immediacy. It's a really great example of when medium and close-up shots work really well, and how they can bring you into a movie and into a scene with the characters at all times. Like it's nice too, because again, because they're allowed to kind of move around each other, you'll have scenes where two characters are talking to each other and they'll still be like someone's head slightly out of frame or something like that too. And it again really lends itself to that depth of field as well too. But yeah, I can talk about this movie a lot. This was my recommendation, so I'm going to shut up now for a bit and let you guys talk.
Yeah, I mean, I think just kind of doubling down on the, you kind of pick up things so quickly. Where like, I think even on my third watch, you now start to realize where I think those realms kind of merge much quicker than you think.
Yeah.
Even like we're at the original dinner and they're sitting talking. He's like, I forgot. I think it's Mike. He's like, yeah, I'm an actor. I've been in that one TV show. I forgot the TV show, right? Whatever it was in the context of the film.
Roswell,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she was like, what? I watched the show and I've never seen you in it, right? And like that was the first, that's like 5 minutes into the movie. And it's like, okay, that's obviously a different Mike, right?
Oh,
like
yeah.
you can realize that on multiple watches.
Yeah,
That's not
that's a good point.
From their realm or from their reality. He's already, something weird has already gone on, right? And he's now turned up in this house.
Or she's not the right Lori either, too, because she's the one that's being
it's
brought.
Be something of that nature.
Yeah, she's the one that's brought into the party. Like she's kind of the ex-girlfriend that gets brought back in and stuff too.
I think when all of that starts, if I had to guess, is probably when her phone cracks.
Yep.
And like that to me is when like you don't know who's who, and so like they all start together. Like. From the beginning of the movie, she's not with the group of friends that she knows.
Yeah.
Like she's not, you know.
It's
maybe
so simple.
Maybe the people that are there when she arrives at the house, but like anyone that arrives after her is probably not the same person.
Yeah. It's such a simple concept, and it's
so simple.
They use such simple tools too, just the glow sticks. The glow sticks is genius. That you just have the three different ones, and then like
let you know who's who.
I remember that being the moment I twigged in the theater that like, oh, they're the different people. Because like if you were watching this and you don't know anything about it, it's like, okay, is there people breaking in? Is it a ghost? Do you have like the door to nowhere kind of thing? And then it kind of slowly unfolds. Like, is it aliens from the comet? Like, I don't know what's going on. And then it slowly starts to unfold, and then you see them with their copies of each other with the different colored glow sticks, and you just go, "Oh, that's where we're going." And
that's probably one of my favorite scenes. Just like that's like probably the most tense it gets for me too, from a suspenseful standpoint, is when they're all on the street and you just see the other group of them standing over there with the red glow sticks, and then there's just kind of like that very tense, quiet, nobody's breathing, and then the red group takes off, so then everybody takes off, and that's probably one of my favorite parts from a suspense standpoint for sure.
I think one of mine is when he's writing the note and then someone knocks on the door and it's the same exact note.
Yeah.
I kind of lost my shit on that one. I was like, holy shit, like what is happening? Like I have no guesses. I'm like, obviously it's got to be some kind of like copy of these people at that point, because it was like the same handwriting and everything. But you still like I said, the movie kind of has rules that you would like lead you to believe one thing, because if like they initially think, you know, it's just the other house down the street and maybe there are just two Schrodingers, and it's these two houses against each other, and that's the characters think, that's what the movie makes you think.
One lives, one
But then
dies. What
Yeah,
happens
exactly.
to the cat? Yeah.
And you're thinking as one house does one thing, the other house is doing the exact same because it's the exact same group of people. But then you think about it and you're like, well, if it's the exact same group of people, like why? And that's why they ran into each other at the intersection. But like, why did our Hugh that we're watching never left to go give the note, but then they got a note?
Right.
So you're like, well, so they can't be exactly the same because somehow that happened there, but it didn't happen here. And so there's just so much that you're trying to like keep up with, and the rules stay the same. If you watch this movie, nothing like changes as far as like what can happen, but your concept of like what the rules are changes constantly.
How big the game is.
You're given more and more information as like the movie unfolds. The box thing really threw me for a loop. I was like, why would they have? And then like Amir's like, I didn't that's not like, no one took a picture of me.
Yeah.
Like that's freaky.
Yeah,
like imagine like someone's got a picture of you and you.
Yeah, he's like, I bought this sweater today, and yeah,
exactly.
They slowly piece together that like the picture is from that night. Yeah. It's good, man. It's good with its little ideas and stuff, and like there's definitely things that are like you have to suspend disbelief with, like the guy's brother is a weird professor or whatever, and he's got the one book that
physicist.
Yeah, they've got the one book that they need in the car and everything like that. But whatever, otherwise you wouldn't have a story.
It works so well.
Yeah,
it's so believable too. Well, because they set that up earlier in the film before you're even like, oh, I wonder what the answer is. It's like, oh, my brother's a theoretical physicist.
Yeah,
and like they kind of let that sit for a while. And then eventually they come back to it, and so it's already sunk. The seed's already been planted for that to be a thing. And by setting that up so early on, you're like, okay, I remember that now. That makes sense. Whereas like say they didn't bring up the brother thing. I mean, obviously it's a big plot point where he's trying to go use the phone. Say if they use something else, and then randomly is like, oh, actually my brother's a theoretical physicist.
Right,
he's got this book with his lecture notes. That doesn't work at all. That's just a scapegoat. That's an easy kind of like little cheap getaway, get out of jail free card where you're like, oh, here's the answer. It's convenient. Very, very easy plot.
It's that famous screenwriting thing. Coincidence can get you into trouble, but coincidence can't get you out of it in story.
Yeah, and they even have a few points that most like logical people would step through, right? And they're like, okay, well, like, hang on. They end up finding out, I think it was that Lee, I forgot what drug she had took, but it was some type of ketamine. Thank you. That's what it was, right? And they're like, all right, well, like, did you drug all the food? And like, that was like a logical question. Like, we don't know what's going on. Nobody's ever seen something like this before, right?
I love that where he's like, wouldn't it be a nice answer? So
that was funny. They were like trying to put logic to it when in fact there really wasn't any logic to it, right? It's merging of realms. But yeah, overall, man, I like it. I think it's a small film done the right way, which
and original
when
concept.
Those are done correctly, I think most people are fans of those.
Yeah. Tyler,
1,000%.
any other big thoughts or moments you liked?
Just the whole thing. I think you and I probably talked for quite some time after I watched it for the first time. But it gives you very not like Paranormal Activity vibes in the sense of like what they're going for, but obviously like the budget and how much success they had, and it's really great when you get to have that combination and see something that is so successful, and regardless of whether it was successful making money or the following it has, it is just a good movie at the end of the day, and it makes you think, and it's one of those ones that kind of has your corkscrew theory kind of working for it, versus just your linear
loop.
Twists, and even though linear twist isn't really something that makes sense, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It does a good job, and it's driven really well by what it has, and it knows exactly what it is, and it's very well acted, and I love the fact that like you said earlier, they kind of have a lot of dialogue freedom, and then you have that one guy that's kind of there to keep them on task with what's really going on, and it makes it feel very lived in, and we obviously say that quite a bit here, but even the fact that the house the director That's his house again. It already gets that lived-in vibe. And back to what Adam said, how it's shot. It's makes you feel like you're there, like you're part of the mystery. And I think one of my favorite things, other than what I talked about earlier, is the boxes.
Sure.
Just seeing how much thought process goes into that, and that's like when she kind of finally puts it together that like everybody's not from this house, or there's even a third house involved, and kind of so on and so forth. That's probably one of my favorite realizations that you kind of get in the movie.
And even the guy that she's there with, that is her original person,
right,
is the drunkard, or is the guy that just doesn't give a shit anymore and is just like losing his mind as well too. So yeah, there's a lot of really nice character work in here. I think, even earlier, like we were talking about, when they are just kind of doing the dinner visit, and you kind of get that backstory of where I think her name in the story is Emily as well too, like where she's coming from, and like kind of her what she's gone through, and why she might be reticent to just take this life jump with her partner Maury, and just kind of like everything that's going on between those. And I think it sets up for what is clearly an ensemble piece, but will be narrowed down to one person, kind of in Final Girl fashion. Like it sets her up really well for that as well too.
Agreed. What would like your guys' solution be, I guess? What would you try to do to maybe fix the situation, or what would you what would your plan be, I guess?
That's tough. I mean,
it's very tough.
My grounded answer.
Obviously you can, shorten it up a bit, because we could talk about, what our full-blown solutions are for like the next hour.
I think my grounded answer would be exactly what M does, is like just try to find the best reality you can and be like,
once you know the situation.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's the most logical approach.
Now, I would do a better job of disposing of myself.
For sure. Yeah.
I wouldn't just toss him in a trunk and be like, see ya, with barely a dent in my head. Bad idea. You got to erase that guy.
For sure.
But I think she's got the right idea, honestly. Like, what else can you do? That your reality is collapsing. That's never going to be the same. So many things are fucked up in that world. They're not even the same people that you know.
Your partner's not the same partner. You have a shitty group of friends. People are fucking each other's spouses. There's just like all around a better choice to go to the happier house.
So let's go find a place where none of this has been
or do you try and find the reality in which you've died already, and then you just get to come back in and be like, hey guys, it's been a while, but I'm here now.
That'd be funny. I don't think you'd ever find your original reality.
Oh no,
I
don't
think you'd ever get back.
You're screwed.
Yeah, you're fucked. Yeah.
I think I would just try walking backwards.
There you go.
Through the street.
They didn't. They didn't do that. The dark zone.
Did not try that though. Yeah,
right.
Maybe honest.
I actually really love that sequence where she's going through the different realities and trying to find like her one that she wants to maybe test out, and you get to see like how other places have just kind of spiraled out of control. And there's a great bit where they have the two mics tied up, and they actually achieved that because
that one was wild.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great little scene. It's just, again, such little stuff. And they actually got that because that actor actually has a twin brother. And so they were just come in and we'll just use you for this. Yeah.
That's cool.
But yeah, it's just a fun little movie, man. It's such a cool little original concept, little original idea. It's so tiny, but it asks such big ideas, like I said before. And it's just an example of how you can do micro budget filmmaking and make it play to a huge audience. You don't have to just do a sad character study of people in a house being sad or something.
Yeah. No, this was so much fun. What a big story to tell on such a small budget, and such a small scale. Because it works so well. Like, this movie, even if you gave him $1 million, doesn't need it.
Right.
But if you told me it had $1 million budget, like I wouldn't necessarily believe you, because I know what small budget films look like, and it looks like this. But like you don't need that much money to do something effective, and it's cool to see, because this just all works really well. Glad it's only 90 minutes. Like, as much as I love this story, they ended it perfectly. Like, it was very tight. very fast. It moved very well. If it was, they dragged any longer, try to add in more stuff or more complexities, I don't think it would have worked as well. Just shortened to the point. Did everything they wanted to do for sure, and then they got out.
That's another little great bit that just came up on screen when they go out to the cars and she realizes she's talking to the wrong boyfriend. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that one was fucked up because he kind of just like looks at her afterwards when she realizes it.
Yeah.
You're kind of just like, oh, that's really weird.
And you as the viewer are like, oh, that's the wrong guy, and you get that same realization right as she does too.
Yeah. Definitely really good.
And even just like the Band-Aids. The Band-Aids are smart. It's yeah. All right.
The Band-Aids are really smart, man. There's so many good parts to it.
Yeah, because if you're paying attention enough on the Band-Aid situation, you would spot that immediately, almost exactly when the character spots it.
Yeah,
Lee spots it.
Well, to your point earlier, there's like the one that I caught early on is the bit where she's talking about the plant in the sink in the kitchen, and she's like, "Oh, where'd you get that?" And she's like, "Oh, I got it at the thrift store." And then like later on, before I think you've even twigged that she's in the wrong house, someone makes the same comment later on too. And just one of those things that could be in the background dialogue that you would miss it as well too. But yeah. All right. Should we rank it? See where it goes up?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Welcome back, listeners who skipped over the spoiler segment of the podcast. We're going to go ahead and rank Coherence up upon the Entropy list.
Hop upon.
For those of you who do not know, the Entropy list is Back Row Banter's official list of every movie we have reviewed, regardless of genre, regardless of anything else, all on one fantastic list. This is essentially how we rate our movies, rather than do it out of 5 stars, out of 10, whatever it is. We throw up all the movies we review on a list and see how they compare to one another. If you'd like to reference the Entropy list for yourself, you can do so by checking the episode description, where it is linked by my Letterboxd, to my Letterboxd.
Interesting.
This is going to be a hard one for me.
Yeah.
All right, I think I've got a general idea, and I'll go first. Even though this is my recommendation, I'm not super precious about this movie. I really like it a lot, but I'm not going to fight for it to be in like, the top 10s the way I would something else as well too, or maybe even that high. So in my mind, and I think it's just because maybe we gave it kind of a similar review, I immediately jumped to Bullet Train because we've said it was like kind of a fun movie. Not that, well, it was kind of a longer one, but fun movie overall, and just kind of, a good entry. And then I was looking around it kind of in that area too. And I think for myself and what this movie means to me and just kind of, again, for its own worth, I'm going to put it actually at 36, right below Boys in the Hood and right above Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. It's above Pig.
I figured you were going there once I saw the Doctor
Oh, yeah?
back to back. Yeah, I had an idea.
Yeah. It's above Pig. It's above Top Gun Maverick, which I think are pretty, amazing movies. And I want to put it above that little superhero run we have right there. But it doesn't quite crack those all-timers that I think are kind of right above there, too. So, 36 above Doctor Strange and below Boys in the Hood.
Interesting. Not mad. I
What are you thinking, Adam?
don't think I can go that high, but I'm not like dramatically lower.
Mhm.
I think I'm gonna put it at let's throw it at 45.
Above Doctor Sleep, below Tokyo Drift?
Above Dr. Sleep, below Tokyo Drift. Yeah. Dr. Sleep is one I'm not huge on, but like Tokyo Drift is one that I like just had so much fun with. And then Power of the Dog is solid, and Weathering with You is also solid, of course. So it's just like this fits well in that little pack right there. And out of those movies, I do like this more than Dr. Sleep.
Fair enough.
District 9, I like it more than that. Paid in Full is really good, but I had more fun with this than Paid in Full, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Different types of movies, obviously. That's the nature of the entry list. But 45 will be my spot.
Ty.
I'm on a little bit of a struggle bus here. I think I'm gonna be a little bit higher than Nathaniel, but not by much.
Okay.
Just because I do think this is a little bit more appealing to me than Boys in the Hood. Scream, you guys know I don't have an overly
Yep.
like obsessive relationship with.
Facts.
And Nope was good, but I think this holds a little bit more. If you put two glasses together, I think this one's just a little bit fuller than Nope. So I'm actually gonna be at 33.
Cool.
33.
Fair. I'm lower than Nathaniel and Ty, and I like this movie a lot, though. To be honest with you guys, but there's a lot of movies I like on this on the Entropy list. So, first thought, I mean, I was kind of looking at where Malignant is.
Okay.
So I was like, I really like Malignant, right? But then I saw Blade. I was like, I really like Blade. I really like District 9. Nightmare on Elm is okay. I love Paid in Full, Doctor Sleep. So I'm thinking like that was kind of just a tough realm. And then I saw like Soul, A Quiet Place, Prey. X I did like a lot. So I think I'm probably throwing this thing at 59.
Whew.
So above Last Night in Soho, but under X. X is good, man.
X is good. Which that sequel's coming out soon.
There's a few in there. I mean, I'd probably like to move around, but as far as like X, Prey, and then like Malignant and Blade, it couldn't jump above those two to me.
Fair enough.
Well, with that being said,
yeah, wide range.
That's a very wide range, pretty split on this one. I wasn't expecting to be lower than Ty and Nathaniel. I thought it was gonna be pretty high on this movie, but you guys seem to really enjoy it, which is awesome because it's great.
I
really
like this movie.
Agreed.
I'm with you.
That being said, we do have to tie break it with a little film that we loved called Bullet Train.
Okay.
So,
I think Coherence was a 7.7.
7.2.
7.72. Do we want to give a Back Row Banter tie break where we say we want it above or below? Because I personally kind of want it below.
What's Bullet Train's rating?
7.5.
7.5. So
I say we do the rating, fellas.
I would vote for Bullet Train anyways to be above this. So
yeah, that's fine. That's right above Tokyo Drift.
Yeah. And it has Zazie Beetz, so I'm with it.
Bullet Train 43, Coherence 44.
Are you okay with this, Adam? You seem very
I am.
okay.
That's fine. I was just like,
wanted to make sure.
For a second I was just like, damn, Tokyo Drift. It's sinking.
Yeah, Tokyo Drift. It's Tokyo Drift's the ultimate like fun movie.
It is. It is.
You know,
it's a good.
sure,
yeah.
but I mean,
yeah.
And I think
and this is really fun too.
I think
could argue Blade's up there too. Blade's a fucking fun movie.
Blade's
fucking
great.
I do love the movie poster for Coherence on Letterboxd.
Is it the
It's
glow sticks?
It's a table set, but instead of a plate, there's a ping pong paddle.
Yeah, I
really
saw
cool.
that when I logged in.
Yeah, and the glow stick to the
Yeah.
left as well too.
I can't. Yeah, it's minimized here, but yeah, really.
And it's at 44, which is mere to number. So there you go.
Wow. Are
do you
we in
think our
Schrodinger's cat?
universe Yeah, I was like, do you think our universe is collapsing right now?
Could be.
What do you think your doppelganger looks like? Or like not looks like is, right? Like do you think in another universe, like for example, like is Nathaniel Hispanic, but he looks the same?
Yes.
You mean me?
You know what I mean? Yeah, potentially.
I mean-
you know what I mean? Like who knows?
Theoretically, there are infinite multiverses, and every combination possible for someone of your own, whatever. So that sure, there could be a Hispanic Nathaniel.
Yeah, there's infinite
guess.
versions of you.
Yeah.
There's a buff you, there's a skinny you, there's a shorter you, there's a taller you, there's a famous you, there's a poor you.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
But
And
anyways,
I got stuck with this one. Fuck me, right? It's just-
yeah, right.
hey, you're
It's
doing
like,
all
well,
right.
you could have been
yeah,
you
he
could
could
have
have been
unlucky
this,
Adam.
this.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I could have been all-star, pitcher Adam, but here we are.
I love the me I am.
Oh, that's good to hear. Someone's having a good week.
I'm me. Why would I want to be anyone else? I don't think you
Mental
realize how
health
psychologically healthy that is.
Anyway, that's it for the review segment here. Next week's review. Tyler, did you decide what you want to watch yet?
Yes.
It's Tyler's B-Day pick.
And
B-Day.
I can't remember why I thought that I had to pick out an anime movie, but once we discussed last week that I did not, my direction almost immediately flipped. And I'm gonna bring out the big guns.
Ooh.
You are required to watch Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, extended edition.
Oh, extended edition.
You have to watch the extended.
Where do I find the extended edition?
They are on HBO Max.
They all are. Okay.
All right, so this will actually be my introduction to Lord of the Rings, fellas.
I'm so
Is this the
hyped.
first? Is this the first film?
If
Yes.
you and I, yeah. So this is the first one that came out in
And there's
our
3 films,
timeline,
right?
but technically the Hobbits are prequels to this, but they came out after this. So this will be the first piece that people have been introduced to in like our regular timeline.
Okay, so this was the first film they made. So this is like
Yeah.
02, 03 or something like that.
Oh, one.
Yeah.
01, okay.
So, and if there's a way that you and I could get together, I'm totally down because I love watching this movie for the first
it's
time
one
with
of my
people.
favorites. Yeah.
But if not, then I'm cool with it.
Okay, yeah, I'm actually interested, fellas. I mean, it would take something like this to make me watch those. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
yeah, we'll see how it goes. I know they're long as fuck, though. I at least know that much.
The extended
trying to
you do
figure out
push
how this
like
one-
3 hours, but
3, yeah.
it's no
Yeah,
Zack Snyder.
Tyler really said, busy week? Fuck your week.
Well, he said it's no Snyder cut, so I mean that's fine.
3
I
hours
rewatched
and
that. Some people told
48
me I'm
minutes?
I mean, 23 minutes of that is credits. I'll be honest.
All right, 3:30 then. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
that'll be a
Jesus.
few sittings for sure.
I have no idea when I'm going to find 3.5 hours, but I will. Just for you,
Yeah.
Ty.
Thanks, Doug.
Of course
I'm sure you all have seen this, right? I'm
I
probably
have.
the
It's
only
been a minute
outlier.
for me, though.
On multiple occasions.
God, of course.
Yes.
I think it'll be interesting. I'm in. Like I said, I want to about it. I have some context of it just through like pop culture, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, couldn't really tell you.
I'm excited. And then speaking of birthdays, I got an early birthday present today. So shout out Leah. I got a new golf bag.
Cool.
Hey. Shout out.
Very, very excited.
When are you planning on getting on the green, my boy?
I literally was gonna go today, and then our washer's been broke for like 3.5 weeks, and I've been just irate about it. So my apartment complex like fucking hates me. Like they don't even answer my calls anymore. I finally got it replaced today. So instead of going out and having fun, I decided to do the adult thing and go pick up laundry detergent that I needed, and did laundry for like literally 5 hours.
Jesus.
So, but I'll get out there. It's a smaller bag than what I have, which I wanted, and it's one of the ones that has like little legs on it that pop out, so you can just set it down. Because I like to walk most courses if I can, and it's got the 2-strapper backpack setup versus the 1-strapper, so it makes it very easy to walk with.
Two straps.
Yep, 2-strapping it.
Mm.
Nah, bro, you got to
Well-
1-strap it. That's what all cool kids do.
Nope, 2-strapping it all day.
And what's the birthday? Is it 31, 32?
It'll be 32.
32.
Big old 3-2,
Yeah,
brother.
getting fucking old.
Hey, it's not old, yeah, man.
I love it, dude. I'm having the time of my life.
Yeah, as you
Good to hear,
should,
man.
man.
Yeah.
We're still young in context.
Facts.
Where are we in the show? We said Lord of the Rings.
We're at
5-star review.
5-star
this week?
review, yes. No 5-star review this week, but if you do give us a 5-star review in Apple Podcasts, we will read it out on the podcast. You could say whatever you want. You could be nice, you could be mean, you could be funny, just don't be evil. And yeah, that'll happen. Adam, Bring us home.
No emails this week, but if you do want to email us with any questions, comments, concerns, grievances, anything of that sort, you can do so by sending us a message to backrowbanterpod@gmail.com. Share the podcast, share with a friend, a family member, or more friends. All of your friends you're having over for a dinner party, and then your counterparts.
There you go.
I'm going to leave it there. I was going to keep going, and then I was like, oh, this is
Think of how... yeah. I was just going to do the same thing, but fair enough.
Yeah. And then you can follow us on Twitter @BanterRow, on Instagram Back Row Banter Pod, and our YouTube is just Back Row Banter. BlakeHolder, where can people find you at, my man?
Letterboxd, BlakeHolder. I'll be on there, log some things, rating things out of 5 stars. Gave Coherence a 3, I believe, 3.5. So yeah, we'll see. Actually curious on how I'm gonna feel about. Maybe that's something I actually might put a review on, because that's something that's obviously got a huge following. It's a mega movie, right? I mean, don't they have like the Amazon Prime show on the books, right? So yeah. So nonetheless, I'm being introduced to a new world, so that'll be kind of cool. 20 plus years later. So yeah, I'll let you guys know. We'll go to Nathaniel.
You can always find me on Twitter and Letterboxd @NSGingrick, or on Instagram @NathanielG92. Other podcasts, Sandpiper Tapes. And yeah, Tyler, where are you?
Twitch.tv/El Trabajo87. We do stream. I'm actually probably going to stream Call of Duty tonight. So, yeah, you can come watch, even though you won't hear this till tomorrow. And I won't stream tomorrow. So, everything else is Instagram, Letterboxd, and Twitter, Tyler Vidalis. Who we got left? Nathaniel?
No, I already went.
No, sorry, you just went. Adam?
Yes, sir. You can find me on Twitter @Aish24, on Letterboxd @Aish, and on Twitch, where I've kind of been streaming and will be for a little bit.
I saw it.
Twitch.tv/Aish. Yeah, played in a tournament over the weekend. Did okay. I think we got top 20 out of 80 teams, something like that. I don't remember.
Tuned in for a smidge, so
played pretty well. Played a Fnatic, one of the like pro teams. Lost, but did better than I expected. So
good. Nice.
Yeah. It wasn't like we got absolutely like just steamrolled. It was like, oh, we're kind of holding our own, but like we actually have no chance of winning, that kind of thing. But anyway, I think that's it for episode 118. Thank you all for listening, especially if you made it this far into the episode. You're my favorite type of listener, and we do seriously really appreciate it. Join us next week for our review of the Fellowship of the Ring Extended Edition. We'll BRB.
Be excellent to each other, everyone, and we will BRB.
Thanks for stopping by, and we appreciate anything you can do to help us grow, because we want to grow, because we like doing this. And just be good to one another. You never know where someone is at in their day, their journey, and we'll BRB.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for the support as always. We wouldn't have a podcast if it wasn't for you. So that's all I got. Everybody stay positive, stay in good spirits. We got fall coming around. We got a Bears W. The Packers look bad. Seems like it's a pretty good week. So
fuck the Packers.
We'll BRB.
America. Ready for another lesson.
Blake, do you think your brother will like have kids soon and you'll be an uncle?
No, not a chance.
Yeah, not happening.
What do you ask?
I was just
curious.
Yeah, just curiosity, I guess. Random thought.
Yeah, no, not necessarily. What about you? Do you think your brother will have children?
No, probably not. Maybe. Yeah. Who knows? You never know what life has, but
I guess, yeah, for sure. I couldn't tell you in 5 years, right, where things are at. But
yeah. What about you, Adam? Any of your brothers close to popping out kids?
Well, both of them are engaged now.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
What? Do you have two older
in fact,
brothers?
I think this.
Or
Yeah, I've
three?
got two older brothers. Yeah.
Okay.
One of them got engaged. When did Alec get engaged? Back in January.
Okay.
We
and
probably
then
talked about it on pod, didn't we?
That
we might
sounds
have.
right.
I
Yeah.
think I did. And then Scott got engaged the same week Ty did, so I didn't want to bring it up and steal his thunder. But he and his girlfriend, well, now fiance, were in Greece. And they've been together since he was a sophomore, junior in college. So they've been together for 6
We met
years.
one of them, didn't we? Didn't like one of them and his
You
girlfriend come to the
met-
store?
I think you met Alec. I don't think you met Scott.
Okay.
Because Alec came in one time to do a screen protector while he was here for like Christmas or something. But I think I don't know if any of you guys have met Scott yet.
Tyler already basically is an uncle, obviously.
Yeah.
Shout out, my guy.
I know I know Scott wants kids. I think Alec wants kids, but I don't know for sure. But I mean, theoretically, they could be happening relatively soon. I've decided. I don't know if I'll have kids. I want to be the cool uncle though. I think that's my spot in life. You know?
Fun uncle is always nice.
Yeah. Like I'm just gonna spoil my nieces and nephews, and they're gonna love me, and then I don't have to deal with all their bullshit.
Yeah, that's the cool part about nieces and uncles, and even like being like grandparents. You just get to see like you get to be the fun person,
Right.
24/7. Like, yeah, I don't have to discipline you, and then go to your parents for that.
Yeah, man. Disciplining against that terrifies me as a concept.
What, having kids?
No, just having to
Disciplining
discipline
kids.
just having to discipline them, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's just crazy. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's not crazy.
I just don't feel qualified
But yeah,
in any way to like
you're just raising a
to tell someone
total
else.
bean.
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's like there's a lot of responsibility, man. I can't even imagine now, like getting off work.
Oh,
Like, you know what I mean? Then like going home and having to be a father. It's like, holy fuck, dude.
That's what I'm
like,
saying. Because I would love to get a dog, but like my friend just got a dog, and she's going through it. Because
dude.
like she's trying to do her schoolwork, and the dog's just like biting her because it's just like it's teething and stuff. Still, there's no playing is only with toys and whatnot, and so it's just like, and so she like has to take it to the dog park every day. She has to take it on like 3 or 4 walks a day. It's just like it's constant work. And then eventually that thing talks back. Like, you're telling me kids are just gonna like dogs on steroids? That's wild.
Yeah, that eventually your kid reaches age where it's like, you know what? Fuck you, mom and dad. And it's like,
yeah, right.
That's
all
I
that
did a lot
time,
for you.
all that time. Exactly. Yeah. I birthed you.
Yeah.
I took care of you until you could, form words and walk on your own. And you're just gonna use those words and say "fuck you," like, oh man, that's gotta hurt.
Crazy concept.
Even
though.
then-
Sorry, Papa Schwartz.
Even then, I'd be like,
Papa Schwartz.
yeah, fair enough, man. I don't know how to tell you how to live your life. Like, bro, like, I'm afraid that'd be my opinion on most of that stuff.
Yeah,
Just
but I'm very close to you on that, Nathaniel. I was like, I don't know, let him figure it out. So
fuck you too. Wait and see, though. I'm gonna seem real
it's like
smart
we
in about
cry
a few
together.
years. Yeah. You just wait, kid. 10 more years, I'm gonna sound real intelligent.